It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Hello, hello, hello. Woo! First of all, I just had to get that out because I'm so excited that I have been on a podcast marathon, literally back to back to back to back. I feel like I'm making up for the summer. The summer, it got quiet. And now I'm just back ready to end the year strong. So for everyone that's listening, I want to welcome you again to another episode of Sheba Shares with the Divas That Care. Listen, I've been interviewing, sitting down, sharing, chatting it up with divas that care.
Divas.
Exactly. They are doing amazing work in the world, in their communities, and their families, even within themselves. You know, it's just a beautiful thing to just sit and share this moment. I think my shortest interview at this point.
Oh, really? That good, huh?
I can't remember. I mean, we just start going and going, and it just gets wonderful, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm just going and going. So if you've had or listened to any, prior episodes, I'm hoping that you're enjoying. I mean, I'm serious. I'm like international. I'm just international. Earlier, I was like, I didn't know I had a twin in Minnesota. Girl. And now I'm about to meet my twin in Alaska.
Yes, you are. We are.
Yes. So
light attracts light.
Yeah, girl, without further ado, I just want to introduce, I met this beautiful soul through a collaboration book, an anthology. You know, we're in the same chat, and you know me. Yeah, if you know me, you just know me, right? I just bring everything, all that I am. I don't care if it's 6 a.m, midnight. This is me. Period. No coffee, no nothing. This is just it. And apparently, light attracted light. And now we're here today, and the rest will continue to make history. So, sis, introduce yourself. Let us know. Let us know who you are. Let us know where you are. Come on, talk to us. Talk to us. I'm excited. The babies are with my mother, so I have time.
Oh, Sheba, thank you. You're so generous, one, to have me on. So thank you.
You're
and
welcome.
hello, everyone. My name is Irene LB, and I am in Anchorage, Alaska. That's where I hail from. It is just the beginning of winter, so it's cold, and there's lots of snow out. So yeah, we're bracing and preparing for that. So it's in full force. But yeah, originally I'm from Corpus Christi, Texas. So that is like a one extreme to the other. Because like that is a very hot and humid place to be. And so, but Alaska has been my home for the last 22 years now. So that's how long I've been here.
Oh, wow. That is, I mean, I feel like that huge jump gives a little insight to who you are. It's not every person that would go from California to Alaska, right? So you call Alaska...
Actually, yeah, actually it was Texas. And then from Texas, from Texas, it was to England. And from England, it was to Alaska. Yeah.
Yeah, that is amazing. That's so, that in itself probably needs a whole episode by itself to just.
Yeah, because that was I was military, that was military tour that we did over there, and I was a dependent with my family there, and so that's why we were there. So we were there for almost 4 years, and then we got stationed to Alaska through the Air Force. So.
Understood. Okay. All right. That's excellent.
And
So,
that was my first marriage.
oh,
So
you see what I mean?
yeah,
Sisters,
yeah,
listen.
yep, that was my first marriage, and so that ended, and I ended up staying in Alaska. So
Yeah, wow. I mean, yeah, mine's ended in Brooklyn, and I'm still in Brooklyn.
yeah,
Still in Brooklyn. Listen,
yeah.
it's so funny because it reminds me, any person that's listening, I just want you to know, and I want to debunk this idea about this greener grass. I don't know, people, they always throw this up, oh, the greener grass, there's no greener grass on the other side. And I want you to know that there is greener grass on the other side, whether it be another relationship or whether it just be you, the healed version of you, the empowered version of you, the motivated, determined, there is greener grass on the other side. So I'm hoping that was the first nugget that you
And
got.
you know what? Yeah, and to anyone who's listening out there, that magic and that sauce to that grass being on the other side is for us to decide for that grass to be greener. Like we just make that decision that it's going to be green. I'm going to make it green.
That's right. So if I have to add the water and the sunlight and the fertilizer, whatever I have to do
it.
I have to make a decision. So I love that. So I know that a lot, well, first I'll say congratulations on your #1 international best-selling.
Girl, thank you. And congratulations to you too for being the #1 international best-selling author.
Right. We want to make sure we put that out there. International. Anyway.
As you should.
I've been bragging. I'm just here minding my #1 international, but no, but
that's right.
So just share with us. I know that you're a life coach, you're an entrepreneur, you have several businesses, you're balancing so much. So what is your business? What's your profession? What do you do? Tell listeners, what do you do?
So, I was originally my career, before I quit my career to become an entrepreneur. Well, not really to become an entrepreneur, but I ended up being that. So, my career, my title was a paralegal, and so I was a legal secretary, a paralegal for local law firms, or state or federal even, and so it that was my work. That was for 20 years. That's what I did, was law work. And so I had my second marriage, and never did I ever think I was ever get married again. Never ever did I think that.
Oh my goodness, ever. Good.
Never.
Ever. Like,
so
I was just doing so good. No, I'm not trying to be. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I swore it off. I'm like, that is never happening.
Never going to happen.
Nope.
Ever.
So I ended up happening again.
That's a fall over.
But it happened after 10 years that I was with my husband. Like we were dating, we were dating. I mean, it was like all backwards. Like we had our home already. We had everything. We didn't have, because we just, I was like, nope, that's not happening. And he just was he's just such a blessing in my life, man, to stick with me and be like, that kind of that mirror to where it's like, well, if you don't want to get married, then I'm not gonna get married. But until we were both like ready to like really grow up and realize that life is really short and that we should really get our shit together,
Yeah.
And so we ended up getting married after 10 years. And then and I'm a little bit older than my husband.
We're really sisters.
I tell you, girl. I tell you, like mine's.
Yes, I love
like
it.
a magnet. It's like a magnet that happens, and there's that that drawing that we do for one another when it's truly a sisterhood and a belonging, a spiritual sisterhood. So I do believe that. Yes. And so, yeah, we find each other. We some way, somehow. we make that pact in heaven before we came down here to find
I
each other.
love it. Oh my goodness. So as far as your life coaching and, who is your ideal client as
Oh,
far as
so
life
my
coaching?
yeah, so I help spouses and women within the law enforcement community, within the first responder community, within the military community, who are struggling within their relationships due to like PTSD and miscommunication and like really not knowing about who you are, why you are, and what you're supposed to be here doing here. And so having that breakdown in a marriage is it's one of the biggest things that happens within the law enforcement community because of that miscommunication. And
Wow.
so, and there's that PTSD. And if you don't know how to deal with that, being the family of it, well, we get the brunt of that. And
Yeah.
that's where there's a lot of breakdown. That's where there's a lot of like, because the perfection that my husband is as a detective here in our city. And
Mhm.
so the perfection that they have to be, like they have to be on their toes at all times, no matter what.
Yeah.
Because no, there it's like a fishbowl. They're
Mhm.
driving in a fishbowl because they're marked. And so, the police officers especially. And so having to deal with a lot of issues that they deal with because of excuse me,
Okay.
because of some of the trauma exposure that they encounter
Mhm.
with this job, it trickles down at home. And
Yes.
sorry, I'm gonna just mute you real quick. I'm gonna cough.
Yeah, it's okay.
I hope you didn't hear that.
Oh no, even if it's totally okay, girl.
So
Sometimes that happens. Hmm.
no, it's just a tickle in my throat.
Something right, yeah.
I think as I'm talking, and the evil one is like, "Stop talking."
No, you will not. No, I'm just, and
And
here I
so,
am. Mhm.
yeah, so helping them come back from on the brink of breaking, and learning about themselves to learn more about their beloved, and then learning about their faith and coming back to their faith unapologetically. And when I mean by unapologetically, like don't care what anybody thinks. Like don't care what anybody says, because you're praising Jesus, or because you believe in God, or because you believe in, a higher power, or the universe, or whatever it is that it may be that you perceive, if you're spiritual and you believe in the faith, if you're faithful. But yeah, so really learning about who you are, and what you're supposed to be here and do here. And so yeah, it really resonates with me, because I had to be that light in the tunnel where there was no light. And I ended up creating a group to help, women like me who were struggling, because I was on the brink of divorce. I was like, I'm not doing this again. you
Oh,
know, I and I had my son 2 years after we got married. So
mhm.
I had a son 20 years after my last son. So I was 42 when I had my son Fox. He's 6 now. And so I was on the brink of breaking, because I just didn't know how to communicate. Like
Yeah.
it was pure ego on my part too, looking at myself turning around, because I knew I didn't want to get divorced again, you
Right.
know. And I didn't want to do that to my little boy again. I know how it affected my older sons. I have 2 older sons from my first marriage, and that's tough. It's
It's
really
very
really hard on the kids,
yes.
especially if you're not willing or able to co-parent with respect and with honor, to show your kids that respect and honor that you have for their mother and their father. And one of the things that I worked really hard on was becoming friends with my ex, because one of the first jobs I had was at a law firm that did divorces. And man, it was ugly. Like it was, we did a pact, me and my ex-husband, that if anything ever happened and we got divorced, that we were not going to put our kids in the middle of our fights, that we were going to respect each other, that we were never going to talk bad about each other, because I saw what happened to those kids in those cases. And I saw how bitter and how ugly these parents got because of their ego and their bitterness and their spite. And I swore I would never do that to my kids. And so we're really good friends. And I love his family. He has a new wife. We visit each other. It's wonderful.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, for any person who's listening, you know, only response I can say is that it's possible. I mean, you're a living testimony that it is possible.
Absolutely.
Sometimes, you know, I know, you know, a lot of people, their references like, oh, Will and Jada and his ex, you know, and those are kind of far reach, but there's ways in which this can happen in the local community. And I mean, by using the resources that are there for you, you know, the first thing that I believe, I personally, professionally, spiritually, I believe that pride destroys everything. I'm telling you, I like literally run from pride. I run from pride. You know, you have those moments within yourself, but
yes.
I hate to say this, but it's like I run from prideful people. It scares me because I know the next step after that. And it doesn't mean that the next step has to be 5 minutes. It could be 10 years down the line. It could be 15 years down the line.
Yes.
There's going to be a fall at some point, you know? And so I try to avoid that even within my space. Especially if it's something that's outside of my influence, if that makes any sense. So if I have the ability to influence, then okay, great. But if it's outside of that bandwidth, then I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't. Peace, adios, c'est la vie. You know, no. Listen, but there's a boundary that I have to keep and I have to protect and maintain. So.
Absolutely. And it takes skill to learn how to put that boundary up. It really does, because a lot of people don't know how to do it. I didn't know how to put boundaries up. You know, people walked all over me, you know, just wanting that love all the time, and not knowing how to put those boundaries up. But man, isn't it so like freeing to like be able to see with your own eyes and hear with your own ears the hell, I gotta put that boundary up right now for me.
Yeah. Well, quick.
Yep.
No.
Yep. That's some toxic stuff that I don't want to be a part of.
That I'm not going to be a part of.
Right away. You can recognize it, but it takes skill to do that, and it takes practice to do that. It really does.
Right. Because I was just about to say, it's not even only the fact of, establishing, but it's also this aspect of maintaining. Because, sometimes you can have a boundary, right? And then you break it, and then it's like you said, you become this mat that people could just walk over. They don't take you seriously because they know that, if I press a little bit harder, she's going to break. If I do, and honestly, I found myself in that space at one point in time in my life until I met someone that was able, like you said, to kind of teach me that skill, teach me that strategy. And it's been effective. It's been great. It's been great.
Right. But haven't you lost? I have lost several people in my life.
Yes.
Has that happened to you?
That has happened to me. And it's hurtful, but I have to maintain this boundary. Because when you understand, in my opinion, when you understand value, you know what I mean? Like, it's almost not, my pastor always says this, is what she told us, and it's probably, I know this is like a book and something else, but just giving up good for great, if that makes any sense, or giving up is fine for better. So sometimes those people who walked away in those relationships, the people I lost, that was good, but the relationships I was able to cultivate were better. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes.
just
Yeah.
like you said, making that, it's almost like making this switch, like, and this is what you deserve. You don't have to live, and you don't have to, like you said, to, oh, I need people around, and listen, no, no, not happening, not happening, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that this is a very level-headed conversation, a level time of sharing, and I'm really hoping that the listeners are able to take something away, you know, because one thing I know is that our pain, it was for a purpose, right? You know, our stories are it's for someone else, for someone else's strength. Our testimonies is for someone else's strength. One thing my mother used to always say, for anything, for them, in the moment when I was younger, it used to annoy me, but now I understood. She's like, you won't be the first and you're not going to be the last, you know? And in that moment, I'm like, how insensitive, you know? But now understanding, it's like this continuity, it's like this reaching back, you know, like, so it's just, oh my goodness, I can just keep going on and on and on and on and on. So, but I want to bring my attention, or everyone's attention, to this, right? So when we were talking, you know, we talk a lot, you know, we'll message a lot, and I always take it as talking, and it was something that you said, where you said, I help people find their gifts and superpowers they don't even know that they have. Share with us, what is this? What is this? What is this gifts and superpowers? And talk to us about that. I'm excited to hear this part.
So one of the things, thank you. And I'm so glad that you asked that question, because I love talking about it. So one of the things that I really love is personal growth. One of the things that I really love that I get to do is work on myself when I needed to the most. And personal growth and personal development was something that I invested myself into, learning about myself and why I was reacting the way I was reacting, and why my husband was reacting the way he was reacting. Right. And so, you know, I started following Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins. And so I invested in several of their master classes and their events, you know, for personal development, and just to learn how to do what it is that I want to do, or go to a certain place that I want it to be, rather than, you know, do it on my own and spend decades trying to figure it out. I was able to do that in days.
Wow.
And and I kept on going, and I was immersed in it. And what I learned about myself was something about, I don't know if you've heard about it, but it's called 7 Levels Deep. And it really, like, it extracts what it is what's your why. And so doing that, and it's 7 questions about why you know, what you think about success looks like to you, or why do you want to be, you know, why do you want a certain thing, or like whatever it is that you want to change. If you are committed to change, to improve, you're going to become a one powerful human being. You know? And so I was committed to learning about my emotions, because a big part of my problem was feeling rejection from my family and my friends, you know, that dropped me. And so I needed to figure out how to conquer those emotions. And that's what really I was searching for. But really what I found was I had this, you know, spiritual awakening. And it's amazing. And I love it, because I know that I am covered with his grace and with his mercy, and I need to say it I need to share it, and that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to share the good news, and also to bring the people out of their darkness, because I was there, you know. I mean, there was a lot of things in my life that happened, you know, just, you know, the stories that we share can really empower and inspire somebody to live their life instead of just survive.
That's right. Yep.
And so I just, I forgot where I was going with that.
Helping people find their
superpower. Oh
Yes.
yeah, so extracting your why, just but you having to be willing to do it, and having to like have somebody guide you through that process, that that you're not going to be alone and trying to figure out what's next, what to do next. No, you
Right.
like we are the guiding lights for the people that are lost in the dark and can't, don't have that light and can't be that light yet for themselves. But that's what we need. We need somebody to bring a match and to help us get out, to help us be that light, to spark us up. We need that.
That's
And so
right.
that's why we're doing what we're doing, Sheba. That's why you're doing what you were doing, to help inspire and empower women, especially, man, because we have had the shaft. We
A
have
lot.
gotten the shaft,
Yes, indeed.
and being able to speak out, being able to have the confidence to talk about the struggles and the perils and all of the suffering, that whatever, to try to help somebody else out of their gloom and doom, rather, I love to do that. And I don't care about what people say, because people will still say, well, why do you air your dirty laundry, like I could never do anything like that. I could never share, like, details about like my marriage, or why it was, on the rocks, or why I'm so sad about, my family rejecting me, or anything like that's private stuff. I'm
Right.
like, yeah, that's why people suffer in silence,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
that's what we were taught. That's what we were taught to do. We were taught to, buck it up,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
It's
and
true.
and deal with it. And we weren't taught to be, we weren't taught to share that stuff. and
Share this.
and yeah, we weren't taught to do that. And I think that's that needs to change, because if we don't know that there's somebody else like us. When I was 16 years old, I became a mother and a wife.
Mm-hmm.
And if I heard somebody like me when I was 16 years old, it could have changed my life.
Yeah.
Because I could have had some tools. I could have had some things that I would have never thought about, that I could have never gotten from home, because there was just not
Right.
that knowledge, not that knowledge there. And so
Mm-hmm.
and so that's my passion. That's why I'm passionate about doing this. I don't want, it took a big step for us to be public, especially my husband being a homicide detective.
No, I
Like
was
I
like,
really,
girl. No.
girl, we really had to talk about it, and we really had to sit down and had to discuss. Well, there's bad people out here, but yeah, there's bad people everywhere, and we're
Everywhere.
covered.
That's right.
We're covered, and we know what happens when our temples are no more. We know that
Mm-hmm.
the energy, that the spirit inside us does not die. It just goes back to the source. you
That's
know
right. Yeah.
and so being able to I already lost where I was going again.
Oh no, you were just flowing,
Oh,
flowing.
I
I
was
mean,
flowing.
if
Oh, okay.
anybody, because was what to me was so beautiful is that the glow, like when you started speaking about being a light, like a light literally, and I'm looking at your face like, whoa, what, so you can definitely tell that the inner work, that you've done the inner work, and I'm pretty sure you're probably still, we're all a
Oh,
work
girl,
in
it's
us,
a
right?
every day.
Yeah,
It's a
every
daily
day,
thing.
a
You
daily
know
thing,
how,
right?
especially now, how we're attacked. Like we're getting attacked
There's
spiritually,
a
especially,
there's
and
a lot. There's a lot.
oh,
Oh, there's so
oh,
much going on. Look, I'm shaking my head, shaking my head, shaking my head.
mhm.
There's so much going on. It's just so much going on. I'm just gonna keep it
I
at
know.
there's so much
No, I
going.
know. I get it. I
There's so
feel
much. So
it.
you
I
know
feel
what?
it.
You said something that triggered a response, right? In a question, because you know, um, there's something, and I don't remember when I saw it, but it was something on Facebook, and maybe you probably, ran across it scrolling too, and sometimes, but it was something that said, if you were to write a letter to your younger self, what would you say to your younger self? I mean, you were kind of already going there, 16, mom, wife. I mean, that's a huge, that's a yes. I mean, when I was 21, when I was, my first marriage, and I had my son at 25, but even that, it wasn't until I hit 30, and then even 30, I'm like, there's still more. Then when I hit, it's like, keep going through it, and I'm like, I thought 30 was good, but each year is just, I can't explain it. Just something I feel people have to just live through. So, and of course, in a short version, right? If you were to write a letter to your younger self, what would you say to yourself? If it was a paragraph or, a few sentences, even if it was one word, what would you say to the younger Irene?
I would tell the 16-year-old Irene, and I would tell her, because she would still have that baby, because that's never going to change, and I never want that to change.
Ever.
So I would tell my 16-year-old self that life is going to happen for you, mama. Life is going to happen for you, not to you. And the sadness that you feel, that's God's touch. That's God's touch that's letting you know that there is something that you must do in order to not feel that way. And so there's something more. There's a lesson in everything that comes at you that is not that is hard, those hardships that are going to come at you. So I think I would just say that the life that is going to happen for you is for a reason, and never give up in anything that you do. I would tell her to learn about herself, to learn about her emotions, to master her emotions, so that way she knows how to deal with herself and with everybody else in the world.
That is so that's so powerful. Those emotions, woo, girl, my goodness. Yeah, that is absolutely amazing. I'm hoping that those who are listening, you are extracting, you're absorbing, you're intaking, you're digesting, you're just in this moment with us. I wish you can feel this presence, but I'm telling you, it's so strong. I feel it. I'm getting the chills and everything.
Me too, girl.
No, seriously. I'm like, wait a minute, so I'm hoping that is the
There's
case.
Grace
So
upon us.
this is just so amazing, and so let's see. You talk one thing that I know. I mean, if any person wants to connect with you, I know you mentioned mentoring and coaching women within the law enforcement. I feel like that's such a beautiful niche. It's just, we have a lot of coaches, and that seems like that's like a term that's floating around, which is lovely. With all, I'm not saying it out of any disrespect, but that's just amazing, because that in itself is a women, it's women. I can't explain it, but it's just a community within itself. So I'm glad that you are.
Yeah. It's women wanting to keep their families intact and together and strong.
Yeah, and then of course you have a lot of outside forces, and just the law enforcement. That's a lot. So, I mean, we want to make sure we pay homage to you. I'm pretty sure it's a lot. Not like a lot meaning in a bad way, but it is a heavy load of your purpose, your why, and so thank you for that work. And I know that you mentioned you're a facilitator, you're a creator, co-creative events. So do you have any events that are coming up in 2022? I know we're wrapping up the year, but hey, you might want to throw one in there, or do you have anything that's maybe in the making in 2023 that we can plug into? Talk to us about some of the things that you're doing. Now, listen, if you want to come back, and really hone into some of those things, definitely. But for the moment, give us come on, share with us. I'm excited.
I'm so excited to share with you. Yes. So I also help create personalized mantras for your subconscious mind. So that way you can, break those patterns or make those patterns because it all is about the belief in yourself. That's that imposter syndrome. That's just the lack of belief in yourself. And
Right. Wow.
we need to repeat it over and over, those good words, because those bad words that we have been shoved, that has anchored us down since the age of 0 to 7, because that's our download programmable period.
Yes.
Those things are with us, and they're stuck and they're hardwired, but we can dissolve that. We can dissolve
Yes.
that by hypnotizing ourselves and rewiring how we believe in ourselves. So I help create personalized mantras by extracting what is in your heart and what you desire your outcome to be. So that's one thing that I do. And I also
Wow.
have thank you. And I also have, so there's the books too that She is an Overcomer that we are co-authors together on. And then I also have another book that I co-authored that is a #1 best-selling international bestseller as well, that I did last year, called Grit and Grace. And so, yes, yeah, so that was a co-author collaboration with 12 women, and it's amazing. And I'll have to send you one of my books, so I'll definitely get your address and send that to you. And
Yeah.
but I know. And then also so I have my one-on-one coaching, I have my group coaching, and then I have my master classes that I have, and I have like a flyer and things that people can contact me if they want to work with me. But what I have coming up is a master class that is a collaboration also. And it's going to be women entrepreneurs who really want to go deep to figure out what the block is on what it is that is stopping them from whatever they're seeking, whatever their goal is, but there's something that they can't pinpoint it. And what we're going to do is we're going to meet weekly for 3 months, and we're going to have one topic, and we're going to really like, and it's going to be, so we'll be able to speak and learn about each other and tell our stories and what it is, and so that way we can all collaborate and we could all figure it out, mastermind it together. And there's going to be, oh my gosh, some of the women there's 2 women that I know are for sure going to be involved in it, and they're just amazing, knowledgeable, just they're just I'm so excited. So that's
I
one
was
thing.
about to say, listen, sign me up. I'm so
Yeah,
serious.
I know, right?
If it's virtual, I'm so serious. Like because I feel like I have this conversation with myself almost daily. I'm like, I know I got it, but what is that?
Girl, I know, and we feel like we're right, like we're at the gate, right? Like we're ready to go. We're and then that gun goes off, and then we're just like, dang it, what is it?
That's what you need to title it. You need to call it the what is it, mastermind? I'm serious, because I'm pretty sure any participant is they're not going to be able to articulate. And then, I mean, it's easy to say, oh, fear, but it's sometimes it's beyond those things. It's something. Yes. I'm so excited.
And so that's what we want to do. We are going to go deep, so that way we can figure it out. So that way no one is left out without clarity. That way we can get it done and do what we're supposed to do, serve our purpose here, and bring heaven here on earth.
Listen, I'm serious. Put my name down. If you are,
you got it, baby.
I know. Put my name down, especially if it's conducive to my schedule. I'm so, if I have to go on an international Zoom, I'm so willing to do that, because I'm just like, I have to connect. Like, anyway, we're gonna talk outside of this place. But
Absolutely.
Listen, so the last thing that I'm going to say is how if we needed your one-on-one coaching, group coaching, whether it be past masterminds or this current one, this upcoming one that I'm just like, tell me more. How could we connect with you, sis? Please let us know, how can we connect?
So I am on Facebook and I'm on Instagram. So on Facebook, you can find me under Irene LB. And I also have the private group of Strength Beside the Badge. So that's the private coaching group that I have. I also have the Instagram Strength Beside the Badge. And I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Linktree. I'm on Amazon authors page, and so are you. And my yes, and so people can reach me at my email is alaskamasterminds@gmail.com. You can always private message me. So that's how you can get a hold of me.
Wow. Listen. I knew this was going to go. I was like, you know what? Let's just flow. Let's do the baby's awake, Nana, they call her. And I'm like, I'm just going to have this moment. I just have a moment. I just feel like at this peace, I can't explain it, but I just feel like this peace, this settlement. So I'm so Irene, I want to thank you so much for just giving me this time,
yes,
this moment in time, just sharing this moment with me. I picked up some things, I absorbed some things, I'm taking some things. And so I'm grateful. And I'm hoping I extend that to every person who's listening, that you had an aha moment, some moment during this time that we shared together. So again, I'm hoping that you will connect. I have this personal philosophy that if women are not collaborating, then it's not women empowerment. It's something else, but it's not women empowerment. I personally believe this is where Shiva comes in.
I love it.
I'm so serious. I personally believe, I'm like, you're doing something else, but it's not women empowerment, because women, that is what we are supposed to do. And so this was just like, yes, I just felt like I just went to another level just by this. I kid you not. I'm so serious.
My whole thing is about leaders, raising leaders, and women helping women like rise, to be those cheerleaders, to be on that corner from women. Like if you get up there, help those women up too, because they want to be right there. Yeah.
That's what, so I'm just like, this is, and as I mentioned before, just creating those boundaries. Anything I feel, and I'm like, ooh, no, I don't know what that is, but it's not women.
And you can feel it. And you can feel when you learn about yourself, oh man, everything is just, everything is more, you're more sensitive to everything.
And that's why they call me Miss Deep. You're just too deep. And I'd rather be deep than shallow. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry, but I'd rather be deep than shallow. So thank you again, every listener. Please, especially if you're a woman. I don't know if you open it up to men too. So so be it.
I do, yeah.
Connect on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, email, however you need to connect. You want to make sure that you do it and plug into this mastermind. I know that it's going to be epic and it's going to definitely more.
It's going to change lives. Yes,
it is. Absolutely. It's going to change my life first. First me, no, but I'm so excited about this. So if you're listening, listen, this was another episode of Shiva Shares, and I want to thank you so much for your time with me, sharing this moment just to connect. I love it so much. And hopefully you will listen to either past episodes or future episodes. If you want to connect with me, you can catch me at Facebook, Shiva Empowers, or Instagram, Shiva, it's a double A because Instagram is interesting, Empowered. Catch me at those places. If you want to interview, if you just want to connect, definitely. I love collaborating. I love connecting. And until next time, peace.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.